The late 1800s, a golden age for science and a time of wild questions. One puzzle obsessed scientists. Could you turn air into liquid? That meant reaching temperatures colder than anything most people could imagine. Sir James Dewar, a Scottish chemist and physicist from the Royal Institution in London, began work on low-temperature gases in the 1870s. By 1892, he invented the vacuum flask to store liquefied hydrogen, cooled below -252 degrees Celsius. He wanted to explore the mysteries of extreme cold, especially liquefying stubborn gases like oxygen and hydrogen. The challenge wasn't just making them cold, it was keeping them cold. Every experiment was a race against time. His precious liquids would evaporate in moments. Why bother? Because at super cold temperatures, materials behave in strange new ways, opening up a whole new field, cryogenics. Dewar needed to observe these changes, but his samples vanished too quickly. He needed a way to insulate against heat, a fortress for the cold. The old storage methods were useless. He had to invent something revolutionary. The problem was urgent. Without a solution, progress in low-temperature science would stall. Dewar's quest wasn't just about curiosity. It was about pushing the boundaries of what science could achieve. He needed a container that could keep the cold in and the heat out longer than ever before. But first, he had to outsmart the relentless, invisible enemy heat. Every failed experiment brought him closer to a breakthrough. Dewar's obsession with the ultra-cold was about to pay off. He was on the verge of inventing something that would transform not just his lab, but the world. The solution would be simple, elegant, and powerful. It would become the foundation for a new era of discovery. The race to conquer the cold was about to get a game-changing tool. And it all started with one scientist's relentless pursuit. The world of science was about to get a lot cooler. The Dewar flask was a scientific marvel, but it had a flaw. Made of thin glass, it was incredibly fragile. One slip and your experiment and your flask were gone. It was perfect for the lab, but hopeless for everyday life. Scientists handled it with extreme care, knowing a single knock could mean disaster. The flask's delicacy kept it confined to research, not daily use. Dewar never patented his invention for commercial use. When the Thermos company gained popularity, he sued, but lost, as he hadn't filed a patent. As a result, he made no profit from a product used by millions. He shared his invention freely, never patenting it for consumer use. The idea of using it for coffee or picnics, not on his radar. The Dewar flask was a hero in the lab, but too delicate for the real world. It was a tool for discovery, not convenience. Its potential for everyday life remained untapped. But that was about to change. All it needed was a practical mind to see its possibilities. Enter the next chapter in the flask's story. The world's first commercial thermos was developed by German glass technician Reinhold Burger, born in 1866 in the glass-making village of Baruth, near Berlin. In 1903, he filed a patent for a reinforced vacuum flask with a protective metal shell, a screw top, and a built-in drinking cup. In his workshop, now commemorated in a local museum, Burger produced insulated flasks for laboratories based on the vacuum principles Dewar had introduced a decade earlier. One day, while inspecting one of these flasks, he had a flash of inspiration. It came to me that you could also use it for drinks. He tested it with hot coffee, tea, and milk. 24 hours later, the drinks were still warm, and the thermos idea was born. To stabilize the two glass flasks and prevent breakage, Burger used small internal spacers, a technical improvement that he patented. He needed a name for this new double-walled bottle, so he held a naming contest. The winner, Thermos, from the Greek word for heat. Short, memorable, and perfect for a product that kept things hot or cold. The Thermos brand was born, ready to revolutionize daily life. Burger's improvements made the flask practical, durable, and user-friendly. No longer just for scientists, it was now for everyone. A simple idea, brilliantly adapted for the world. The age of portable, hot and cold had arrived. At first, thermos flasks were luxury items. Only the wealthy could afford them. But by the 1920s, They became a household essential, used for outings, work lunches, and medical needs. In 1908, Burger sold the patent and US rights to a Berlin-based company. While Thermos flasks gained popularity, he did not financially benefit. The Thermos flask was an instant sensation. Hot coffee stayed hot, cold drinks stayed cold, anywhere, anytime. It found life-saving uses in medicine, transporting vaccines and insulin where refrigeration was scarce. During World War II, soldiers relied on them for hot drinks and medicine storage in the field. In the 1950s, lifestyle shifted again. Thermos products were bundled into car-mounted picnic kits, including ones made to hook onto the back seat of the VW Beetle. In the 1980s, design became a priority. German firm Alfie began working with world-class designers to turn the thermos into a stylish object. Today, most thermos flasks are made from steel, not glass. Engineers focus on ergonomics, how a button clicks, how easily a lid twists. But despite the changes, the core principle, a vacuum between two walls, remains unchanged. More than a century later, few remember Reinhold Burger, but his creation and the name he gave it lives on in kitchens, labs, backpacks, and office desks worldwide. From a scientist's quest for the ultra-cold to a staple of everyday life, a simple container, a world-changing idea. That's the power of invention.